Welcome back to the Green Rush Live. I hope you enjoyed that 420 break as much as we did. And we're just going to start right off with Curaleaf. They closed a facility right in New Jersey. I know the facility very well. If you follow the show, I speak about it very, very often. And they've been busted by the state multiple times for selling moldy product. Our state doesn't really enforce the laws in New Jersey and that kind of thing. They just tell them that they have to make it better. And then the next time they come out, it's supposed to be better. And it's never better, but that's just the way it works. And you can see why they are closing a facility. But it's also, we're starting to get better dispensaries around here. We have one called the Cannabis, and it's an MSO, but it's a little bit smaller of an MSO, and their product is way better. So their line is now the line that's always long, and Curaleaf used to be around the block, and Curaleaf literally has zero line anytime that you can just walk right in at this point. And I mean, they used to have it, the line was so crazy that the cops used to have to direct the traffic, and they made a fortune just off of parking tickets because there's not that many areas to park around there, and people were just parking wherever they want. There's construction going on, and they would just tow cars. Like they literally had a tow truck out there. It was just like it was a circus going on for a good 6 to 8 months, and now it's just completely came to a standstill. And yeah,
Do you remember when Krispy Kreme first came out, people were standing in line for hours for donuts, and this guy's like, "Oh yeah, I'm at Krispy Kreme." I'm like, "What's that?" He goes, "A donut place." I'm like, "Why are you in line?" And he's like, "Oh, these are really good donuts." And I go, "Why are you in line?" Like why? So why aren't people in line anymore? Is it because they realize it's not good, or is it just like a new nightclub where it's like, oh, we got to go be seen at this place and go stand in line? Is it the new thing that makes it hot, or is it the trash that makes it better to go to instead?
I think it was a combination of the two. It was one of them emerging markets where everybody just wanted to be able to go inside of a dispensary and buy legal cannabis. And and then they did it a few times. Everybody, you go like 4 or 5 times, and then the novelty kind of runs out, and you're like, all right, this is just another time at the dispensary. So now I'm gonna really look and see for quality if I'm coming here and spending these crazy prices, because the novelty kind of real like wore off a little bit because now it's easy. And then you realize like, yo, they're selling better stuff all over the place on the street for way cheaper. I mean, just way better and way cheaper. So it's just, but and then again, they started opening up better dispensaries, and they definitely took the crowd because it's a lower key dispensary, but the line now is around the building. It's crazy all the time, and they have better product, and I think that's what people are really looking for as the novelty wears off. That people are allowed to buy it recreationally and legally. They just now they want something better, and they're becoming educated. And like I said, money's tight for most people, so they want their value, and at $60 an eighth in New Jersey, it better be damn good. And I think that's where Curaleaf just ran into a hell of a lot of issues because they just can't pull it off. They have 4 or 5 grow buildings. I mean, they're huge warehouse facilities, and they were just cranking out product. I mean, like I said, the line would be no lie. You'd see people 3, 4 hours. I would know people. I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, I
But
just
they
want to be
also
able to.
just you were saying something like during the 420 break that they just bought somebody for like 25 million, so they were acquiring people. So is it the rumor, are the rumors true that it's because of the unions where they were like, we're out, or like what's your take?
Well, that's what I've heard, that the rumors or the unions were kind of in New Jersey, or the dispensaries are kind of forced to become unionized, and Curaleaf was like, no, we're not going to have it. And apparently they just closed a facility, like a huge grow facility. Like I said, it's like 4 or 5 buildings. It's giant. And and yeah, they have another facility in a town not too far away. It's not as big as a facility, so you're talking they obviously seen a large decrease in volume of product that they're selling, so they were able to close the facility. Because if they were still selling that amount, they wouldn't have closed the facility. Like I said, if they still had that 2, 3 hour line waiting around the corner, it was they were just making money hand over fist, even when it was very hard in an industry. If they could keep that going, they would definitely be profitable, but they just couldn't keep it. And
If you haven't seen the videos of Howard Schultz, the CEO of Starbucks, getting grilled for
yeah,
shutting down, he's on a Senate hearing earlier this week,
yep.
got absolutely grilled. It was pretty interesting. He's like, "No, we didn't shut those down because they were trying to unionize. That was just business." Like, what?
Yeah, it's
All
just
right.
business. It's just numbers and business. And
I mean,
I
we
mean, I
need a
could see.
labor union to come back, man. Like, there's no people can't afford anything right now. I just heard an earnings report for an egg company, like, oh yeah, profits went up because they made more money. I'm like, uh-huh. And it costs us more to buy them. So like, what are we doing here?
Yeah,
It's
so
great.
Curaleaf, like you said, they acquired a company called Desert Wellness in Utah for $20 million. And so they're pumping out $20 million. They're closing facilities here. They shut down in Colorado, California, and Oregon, three big markets. But yet they're going to open up here, I guess, because they figure there's less competition. I have
Mm.
no idea what it is that they like. How do you what's the mindset for the investors that we're bleeding cash and we're going to acquire another company for 20 million and we can make that one profitable too? Like they can't make the first company profitable.
They could probably make a ton selling their license, I'm assuming, unless they want to. Yeah, I don't know what they're doing, but it's obvious to me that they can't compete. So you have to reduce their expenses, maybe sell it, get some money back, and go to the next emerging market and try to fake their way into there.
That's what it seems like. They're trying to hit the smaller markets and even scale back on them because I mean you're going from some of the biggest markets and getting out, and like New Jersey's not the largest market, but just it was a very large operation that they were the first one in town. I mean, the first ones in the state to really have an operation was that Curaleaf. That's why it was so busy. It was huge. Like I say, it's 4 or 5 buildings, and then they have the dispensary. So it's giant facility, and I've seen it all. It's a hell of a place.
You
But
would think
again,
first mover advantages would work, but like MedMen is obviously not the darling of the MSOs anymore, and their first mover advantages has not worked for them at all. Um, Yeah, is it an anomaly in the cannabis industry to have first mover advantages, or is it just bad management? Or I mean, it's hard to say. There's so many issues, but
I mean, I think Cureleaf did a really good job being like first in the marketplace. I think where they really screwed up was just scaling too big. And then, like you said, just not having the right management in place. Like, if you don't have the right growers for a facility that large, it's going to catch up to you. You might be pumping out product, like I said, because it's a novelty, but that
Mhm.
novelty wears off. I mean, people would travel out west I mean, they were used to have parties, like literally like bachelor and bachelorette parties would fly out to Colorado just to go to dispensaries and hang out like people that are into the cannabis. And yeah, I mean, it was a business, but now it's like it's adult use almost everywhere you go. And the novelty kind of wore off for almost everybody. I mean, unless you're just turning of age or you're in Kentucky or something and they're just announcing it and you're all excited. But I mean, most people have traveled around the country and gone to a dispensary at this point if they consume cannabis and they kind of like it. They've had the option to go somewhere probably and get it. And yeah, so now it's at the point where and you have all this knowledge on the internet and everywhere else that these people want quality. And I don't think the big MSOs can really produce that quality on that kind of scale.
Not
And
yet.
not
No.
yet anyway. Yeah, not yet. I think they could build it up. I think they build it up too fast. And then it's like, all right, now they build it, they had the money to build it, but then it's like, all right, now we don't have the real players to play the game. So you build this giant arena with this great game and you don't have the players. It's like, all right, so now what do we do? And I think that's what's kind of happening right now. And like you said, they need to get a lot of these players that were in the legacy market a long time ago that were doing it, that still do it, and really get them pumped in here and make them part of MSOs and part of grow teams and that's how I think the industry will really start to grow when the big MSOs realize they can't do it on their own and they need the help of the people that have been doing it a long time and they finally work together. I think the industry can explode at that point. And then,
Here's my suggestion for Cure Leaf. Get out of your own way
mm-hmm.
and get rid of all of your plants and let go of all of your people and use like a farmer's market as an analogy. So you go to a farmer's market, MMJ market, and you have all of these people selling their stuff. So flip the script on that and just give them a space and say you have 10,000 square feet, you have 1,000 square feet, you're tier 1, you're tier 3. Let these guys go do their thing because you clearly can't do it. So let the small batch farmers do it. And then just like the tomato farms that are predominantly really, really small, and yet they're at Walmart and all these big, Kroger's and stuff. But tomatoes are grown small batch. They don't scale at all. And so let's do that. Let's provide the space for somebody who knows what they're doing, give them revenue share, make them a partner. And otherwise, you're gonna be the last player in the game like Idaho. But hey, before we get to Idaho, you already teased us with Kentucky. Mitch McConnell, I thought was going to drag us to infinity. What's happening in Kentucky?
It looks like the governor's signing the bill, and they're going to become a legal adult use recreation or adult medical state in 2025. That's when I think that's when they said that would be the first year. I was like, why do they take so long? But then again, they always take so long. It says that would be the longest it would take. But yeah, they signed the bill today, and Kentucky is going to have medical cannabis. So congratulations, Kentucky, because that's always the first step to get yourself into adult use. They're never going to just be like, oh yeah, you could have adult use, and we didn't have medical set up first. They always have medical set up first. Every state adopts the same stupid pattern and rule. They don't learn from the last one. It's like that one, yeah, that format doesn't
They
really
might
work
they
all the
might be
time.
learning because Oklahoma just said no, right? So
Well,
as I've mentioned, once you go regulated, the quality turns to trash, garbage, nonsense. And so Oklahoma maybe figured out like we got 7,000 licenses, like we're screwed if we turn to a regulated market. So let's just drag this nonsense on for a little bit, even though I've heard that market is really bad. Generally speaking, medical marijuana markets are way better than regulated. So kudos to the people who are actually turning it down because they realize, or maybe I don't know what they're realizing. I'm hoping that they realize that what we've done hasn't worked out and they should wait for the perfect scenario because they always say, oh, let's just get it passed and then we'll change it. No, 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 no. A decade later in Washington, we haven't changed anything. So I don't know. It's like keep your medical market is way better.
yeah, no, I keep my medical card. You get to skip the lines if you want to, because adult use has a line and medical always has preference, and that's I think in every
Yeah.
state they do that. And so yeah, if there's like a long line and I just want to walk in, I just walk right in, show my card. And you're supposed to get um a better menu, I guess, like better choices, but I don't really know about that. I mean, I think it's all the same, to be completely honest with you. It's
Mhm.
yeah, they have
Like better
different
menu, like you
menus.
have like higher THC limits
I
legally,
think
or
yeah, I think that's how it works. But again, I mean, really, what's a THC limit? It's all nonsense. It's just a number, and that's why I always say try different strands that you really like and see what works with your body. What terpenes and cannabinoids are the best for you, and go from there. So that's why I always like a very clean piece because you can really get the effects of it and really know what's working for you. And I think it's important. I mean, you use it for fun, but you also use it for medicinal purposes. I think. I mean, it helps you not hurt and headaches and this and that. So that's you might as well use it to its full benefit.
yeah. Anything special about Kentucky? Like, are they going to do anything different than anybody else? Allow like 2 ounces like Oregon, or is it going to be like the same old thing? Or do we got to wait till 2025 to figure that out?
I didn't say anything yet. They just said that the governor was actually signing it today and signed it. And then yeah, they said that the latest it would be rolled out would be the January 1st, so like 2025. And
Yeah.
so you'll assume it'll probably take them a year. I mean, anymore, it's easy. They all adopt the same legislature. So, I mean,
Mhm.
they all just went to Colorado and just took that. I know our state did, and they just basically adopted Colorado and California's, and that was that. And
I'm
so
seeing the
it's
same thing with the lounge bills. Everywhere is just kind of grabbing the same verbiage and copying one another. And it kind of makes sense. You don't really need to reinvent the wheel necessarily. So once somebody spends the time and effort to, I've drafted a cannabis lounge bill. It sucks. So copy and paste.
yeah, no, it's very repetitive and it's a lot of information. And like you were just saying, like everyone wants to be like, oh yeah, pass it and we'll change it later. They write these things and literally like 3 to 5 years later, things start passing, but you have to remember things change so quick that
Mhm,
everything that they wrote prior that they're about to pass has
mhm.
completely just it's useless. And so we every state, I know New Jersey does it all the time, and yeah, they'll write a bill and then 3 years later they pass it, and it's like, well, that was useless because everything changed, the whole industry changed, every all that wordage is useless. And yeah, so it takes them forever to do anything. And no one learns that, no one's learning a lesson from that, that's for sure.
Yeah. But Kentucky still passed it. I mean, we were all clowning on Mitch McConnell like it'd take forever and not do anything, but there he goes. So we'll see if D8 is super popular in his state with hemp and everything, that's growing in Kentucky. That'll be interesting. What's crazy though, moving on to Idaho, there's some lawmakers that introduced a bill to legalize medical cannabis in Idaho, which I thought would be the absolute last state on the planet. I wasn't even aware that they legalized hemp in Idaho.
I didn't know they did either, to be
Yeah,
honest.
which is a joke because obviously with the farm bill at the federal
Farm
level,
bill, it's
but
everywhere.
they have their own thing there because they literally confiscated hemp, right? So there's like to them it was illegal.
Yeah.
Um, so I never expected in my lifetime I would see Idaho legalize.
You don't want to drive through Idaho trying to
So,
transport anything. That's
yeah,
the
yeah,
you
legally
do
like
not want to be in that state.
you want to go around them. But
Oh
yeah, so
yeah.
so check this out. I guess they're calling it a personal bill, which means it doesn't have an introductory hearing. So the bill came as a surprise, wasn't on any sort of legislative agenda apparently. But the House Health and Welfare Committee chairman filed the bill on Friday to authorize the use for people that are diagnosed with various health conditions. So my guess is that's going to be very, very limited, just like some other conservative states that we've seen with limited accessibility. Some of those are going to be like Alzheimer's and like MS or ALS, cancer, chronic pain. I'm not even sure how you, yeah,
Categorize that.
yeah, Crohn's, IBS,
Mhm.
ulcerative colitis, epilepsy, MS, terminal illness. So not a lot, but it's a
But
start.
it opens the door. I mean, like I said, it's how every state basically, well, just about every state, especially if it's, they're not really going to introduce anything like Kentucky and Idaho's. And Kentucky's all right, but Idaho, yeah, I'm surprised to see anything come out of Idaho like this.
And
And
it was a GOP too. So this is a Republican
yeah,
who came out of nowhere. So I'm wondering, like, have the parties switched? I'm just thinking that in my head. We don't have to get in politics, but or is it lobbyists? Like, is he getting paid to submit it, or does he really care about seizures and irritable bowel syndrome?
you never know. He may, someone close to him or a family member. You may actually see the benefits of it. I actually love when that happens, like people that
Yeah.
just don't understand it. And then unfortunately, things in life happen and someone close to him gets affected and they start using it, cannabis, and they're like, yo, this is incredible and it's changing my life. I know, like, we've never thought about it before. And they actually see it with their eyes and they go, you know what? I should probably take a step back because it's a plant that grows out of the ground. And if it's my buddy's telling me and I trust him all the time and he's telling me it helps him, then maybe I'll believe him. And all these other people are saying the same damn thing. Maybe they're all on to something. And so sometimes that happens. They have a change of mind, but I don't know what happened. But I like when them stories happen because it's like, hey, you actually got to see it like
Mm.
firsthand and it changed you. And Actually, it's you really convince somebody when they see it firsthand, and especially somebody that can make a difference, like a GOP member or anybody in legislature that can actually write a bill and do anything. Because you and I aren't doing anything sitting here; we're just discussing it.
Yeah, it's definitely a feel good story if somebody were to have that kind of firsthand knowledge, and it doesn't take much. For example, I went down to my state capital in Olympia, Washington, and talked to some House reps and senators about trying to flip the felony on maintaining and operating a cannabis lounge. It's actually a Class C felony. It was so dumb. So once I told them that people who live in an adult care facility or an apartment and a landlord won't let them and a federally subsidized facility won't let them, they have nowhere to go. And to feed them you know these Marinol or any other painkillers, muscle relaxers, whatever they don't want to take, they have no other option. And that was the biggest thing for me, is to say, hey, we need to have a facility for them to go. It shouldn't be a felony. And then once that was presented with this story of mine, a friend that had MS and has passed away since, that lived in an adult care facility, it sort of was a good enough connection for them to go, I didn't know it was a felony. It seems like a good idea, and we should look into this. So it was bringing awareness with a firsthand story and an impact. And of course, you have to say it's going to help small businesses. We have social equity applicants, and we're going to generate revenue for you. So you do have to come with a good storyline and script. But the whole impact is like, yo, there are people out here who need this.
Absolutely, 100%. I mean, we see people all the time that rely on it, and they've given up pretty much all their pharmaceutical medication because it's just they've realized it's almost like taking a sugar pill after about 2 or 3 weeks, and it leaves their system, and they change what they're doing in their health and their diet and exercise. A lot of them things can be just eliminated, and I'm not saying everything, but I mean, they're giving kids Adderall at a rate that's just absurd. I mean, it's almost, I think I read it, it was like during COVID, they were just handing it out like candy, and now there's apparently a
Oxycontin to
shortage.
11-year-olds is crazy,
Yeah,
man.
it's like what? Like, what are you doing? It's like speed. I mean, what are we doing? Like this country is just so bizarre. And now apparently there's this big shortage and all these kids are hooked on Adderall. I'm like, so what? We just basically gave meth to a bunch of kids during COVID to keep them focused on a computer? Like, okay,
Have you
that
have
makes
you
a
seen
lot of sense.
Ozempic? Ozempic is there's a shortage of Ozempic for people with diabetes because everyone in Hollywood is taking it to lose weight.
Yeah. Yeah, they're taking
Cool
shots.
story, bro. Cool story. Love
Isn't
that.
that amazing? Yeah, it's like what?
Ah,
Like, what is wrong with people? Can
drives me
you
nuts.
imagine? It's insanity. You're like, just how about eat healthy
THCV.
and exercise?
Can't we just promote THCV? It'll like reduce your munchies and you don't have to eat as much or whatever the hell your problem is. Like, it drives me crazy.
Like the stress in your life, like, yeah, like figure it out. I don't get it, but it's insanity. Like I just can't believe doctors are just willing to just write that script for kids
I know.
so fast. Like, oh yeah, my kid can't pay time. Oh, well, how about the fact that they get up at like they're up till 3 a.m. On their phone, and then they get up at 7 a.m. and they're on a device all day. They barely get any exercise. They don't eat healthy. They lay in their bed, and then and they communicate with their friends on their phone by text message. You don't think any of that has anything to do with it? Like, nah. Let's give them Adderall. Like, it's
Right.
crazy. Like, what?
Do you think that people of Idaho are going to push back? Like, there's a lot of crazy stuff happening in the country. Florida is having an issue with a naked Michelangelo, or at least that's what I'm seeing on social media. I have no idea what the issue is. I don't even really care. But we're also seeing that Idaho might legalize medical marijuana, which I find insane to be a fly on the wall, to hear people just freak out like the devil's lettuce is coming to town. Like, I think that'd be insane. Or is it, or do people care anymore? What's your take, man?
I just don't think people care anymore. There's just so many other issues going on in this country. I think cannabis is just like one of them things. Even the people that used to care, they just are just like, whatever. Like, if you guys want to go smoke, whatever, do whatever you want. Can we figure out how to get this country operating the right way?
Exactly.
And yeah, I don't think cannabis seems to be the big issue anymore. It's just they're not just pushing anything forward because the whole country's a mess and nothing's going forward. So cannabis is just sitting on the plate with everything else that's economically tied to this whole entire country because it's just on a stall. We have, like, I say absent administration. You need to get things done, especially when you have times like this. We need people to step it up and really ensure the people that things are being done. And I don't see anything happening. I mean, I look at the stock charts pretty much constantly, and I can see what's about to happen. And unless they change the pattern of what they've been doing, it's going to be an all-out insanity in this country because and now they're going to print more money. So that's going to really just it's the icing on the cake. And they're just setting it up for the best explosion ever. That's all I can say. And hey, we'll see what happens. Only time can tell.
Yeah, interesting stuff happening with that. I'm definitely looking at XRP and some other things happening out there, but maybe we'll touch on that. But I think maybe we got a little smoke break we could take here, and then we will come back with some other stories in the news. Twitter is allowing for advertising, so we could talk about that, the impacts of what it might be for traditional advertising. So stay tuned. We're going to be back with a lot more from Pro Cannabis Media, the Green Rush, all of that coming back. So stay tuned. With that, we're going to roll this one up. I'm Josh Kincaid. This is The Talking Hedge. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, or don't, and I'm out. Don't forget to smash that like button on your way out and check out these other videos that we've got.